All right, everybody. Glad to have you with us for this conversation. This is an hour-long session that is going to be led mostly by Christian Jones here, our Vice President at TaxProMarketer. Has been with us for about 9 years or so and is a remarkable leader within our world. He's older than he looks. Father of three. I'm sure he's got some...
How long will I get to claim that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So anyway, I'm Nate Hagerty, CEO here, and Christian is our vice president. But more than that, he has specifically led this team within our agency since he joined us, 8 or 9 years ago. And he did a lot to change the direction of where things were. I think when he came, we were doing a pretty good job, but there was a little bit of chaos in the department. And Christian organized us really quickly and helped us to focus on the highest leverage activities on behalf of clients. And then when the Google business profile emerged like 5 years ago, Christian is the one who actually waved the flag within our company to make sure that we were doing this and doing this well on behalf of clients. And so he is an expert in both of these areas, the maps and the search pages, and leads our team of, I think there's 8 or 9 people in our agency who actively participate on the functions, working on behalf of clients and this stuff. And so we're doing it every day. We're optimizing, we're looking at data. So we're bringing that to you today. And the cool thing, I mentioned it in the email that I put out today, the cool thing about what we're going to talk about today is a lot of the things that Christian's going to share, especially as it relates to the Google business profile. These are functions that you can operate. These are things that you can do. And it runs counter to our interests as an agency, in a sense, to share some of our secret, quote unquote, secret sauce for these things. But we've discovered that as we do this, and there's some people that want the whole thing managed, and some people just need the info to rock and roll. And we're happy to see that happen. Yeah. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to shut up and let Christian kind of take the point, and I'll just interrupt with snarky commentary here and there. But Christian is the main expert in our entire industry. And frankly, in the tax and accounting world in general, I don't know of anybody outside of our, Christian, who is waving the flag like he is for this information. So Christian, take it away, brother.
Hey, thanks for saying that, Nate. And even to continue the preamble before we get quite into the content, I was just talking with a client today who is with a different company. Like that, we have one service with them, and he's got other services with another company that would probably be considered a competitor of us. And my point today is we're not going to really talk about our competitors. We're talking about things you can do. But just by way of continuing Nate's thought, I was sending him an email because he asked me a question. He's like, hey, what from an SEO standpoint, because we're not doing SEO for this guy, what from a search engine optimization standpoint would you send me as feedback for the existing company I'm working with? And it was just stark because he's paying for SEO. He's paying for SEO. And yet when I was able to show him like a side-by-side of what we do for our clients, especially on Google Business Profile, especially in terms of how we structure our websites, keywords, blogging, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And so if you are familiar with SEO, if you're familiar with organic rank, if that's even conversant for you, I hope what I'm going to do today is kind of get a new bar for what's normal for SEO services in our industry. And that is also to, agree with Nate that there are some things from today you will be able to do yourself. Well, I mean, we're glad to do it for you, but when you look at SEO within our industry in particular, it is not normally what I'm about to show you. It's 100% not. And that's a good thing just to start with. Kind of check your preconceived notions at the door. We've got an hour. It's not going to be enough time to do everything, but this is actually a new presentation. And sometimes you might hear people say that, like, hey, I've got some new content no one's ever seen before. This is a new presentation no one has literally ever seen before that I've added a lot to. And so it's a little bit deeper dive. And this is in the series that we've been going through on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, depending on if there's a holiday. We started with marketing planning. We went into our full machine. That was the last one we did. So if you joined us last time, we kind of dipped into a number of areas, and local SEO and stuff on your website got a little bit of attention. And today we're going to give it a lot of attention. And then moving forward, we'll have some follow-ups So this is not everything in digital marketing. There's a lot.
Can I interrupt real quick just to make sure that I don't miss this housekeeping side piece? I'm putting the URL into the chat right now where you will put in the check words that Christian will be offering. There's going to be 4 check words to administrate CPE for this presentation throughout the presentation. So as you get a check word, do not submit until you get all 4, and then you will get your CPE for this. So that's at CPE HQ, and you'll see the link on there. I cannot verbalize it for the agreement with our CPE provider is that it has to be only live presentation. So, all right, carry on, Christian.
Yes, and we won't be able to repeat the 4 words in the verbally.
In the slides yeah.
So you got to pay attention. That's a part of the requirement. So if you ask us later on, what was the question number 1 or 2, we can't tell you. So that's why you got to pay attention and then put them in the link and then submit at the end.
Yep.
If you have questions on that, please throw them in the chat or question and answer, and Nate can get to you. But let's get started. So again, Nate did a great job of introing me. I got 3 kids at home. I've got 3 monkeys is what I have. It's fun, but it's wild. I run another business in another space. I actually work in a retail fireworks industry, something I've done since high school. And that's another story for another day. But I've been with TaxProMarketer, like Nate said, for, gosh, I think it is like 8+ years now. Which is crazy. And this is my area of expertise. I do a few things in our business, but the main thing I do is I set strategy within SEO, lead that team on-site, off-site. I dip into some other things, but this is what I'm passionate about. And this is what we have seen grow exponentially our clients' performance, in addition to the other things we do, which are further down the funnel. But this is top of funnel. This is visibility. So let me just, again, probably do this throughout the presentation, but let me zoom out and go into the clouds. If you have an amazing looking website, if you have a great email follow-up, if you're doing texting, if you're doing blah, 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 but no one can find your business on Google or no one can find your website, that's a problem. The next time we do a seminar, it's going to be on ads, and you can pay to get traffic. We are not talking about that today. Today, we are talking about how to get organic traffic, how to make Google like you more than your competition, simply because of how your website's built, your Google profile's built. Those are the things that we're going to talk about today. So organic SEO, search engine optimization, if you're familiar with those terms, that's what we're doing today. Advertising will be next. But a lot of people, they do ads and it works. But what happens when you shut off your ad campaign if you don't have any SEO? You lose all your traffic. So you want to build the foundation of how you get visible online with organic at the forefront. This is the foundation. This is the cornerstone. Because when you shut off ads and you've got a well-built site and you've got a well-built Google profile, you still will be getting traffic. You don't just have to pay for traffic only. And our industry is totally full of opportunity, from big markets to medium markets to small town USA. There's opportunity all over the place because, surprise, surprise, whether it's, you running your marketing on your own or another provider or vendor that's run your marketing for you, SEO is not usually done that well. And I'm putting it kindly, that it's not usually done that well. And hopefully by today, at the end of our time, you'll be convinced of that. But let's do the first check word. So again, Nate put the link in the chat of this webinar itself. And the first check word is action. Action. Action is your first check word. I'll give you guys a second just to make sure you're oriented. If you're grabbing your coffee still, just make sure you are grabbing that, and let's get rolling. Go ahead, Nate.
Please do not repeat the check words in the chat, please. Do not type them in the chat because, don't type them in the chat. Put them on the link, not in the chat.
In the link. You see the link Nate posted? That's where you're going to put your word. But that probably was us on miscommunication. But again, here's the question we're answering. How do you own your local online marketplace? And if local is a word that scares you because you're like, hey, Christian, I can do national. I am across my whole state or a whole region. I totally get it. What we're playing into today is that Google sees you as a local-based business, like they do a restaurant, like they do a plumber, an electrician. If you're a CPA, an accountant, a tax consultant, a tax planner, whatever you're doing, if you're doing bookkeeping services, Google first sees that locally. They first see that locally, and that's what we're going to play into, is the game that they've set for us. And that's a big part of understanding this, is that you may want traffic from other places. You can get it, just not through these means. But we do, even if you are national, and a lot of our clients are, you don't want to neglect your backyard. You absolutely don't want to neglect your backyard because it's powerful. Again, right before I get into the meat of the content, if anyone wants an audit of their local online presence and their website, go to taxproleads.com. It's in the lower left-hand side of our presentation here. You should see it throughout, and you'll get a report like this where we show you your SEO availability, or rather power, the SEO visibility was the word I was looking for, and then your performance, and then we'll even give you some next steps. So even if you don't work with us, if you want an audit of your specific website, your specific Google kind of makeup, what's going well, what's not, and what you should consider doing next with some low-hanging fruit, that we'll give you a report like this. So that's a freebie. But okay, online marketing, as we've talked about in our last sessions, is a journey. It's a relationship journey. Online marketing should have a relationship orientation, but like I said, no matter what's happening down the funnel, if people can't find you, if there's not awareness of your business to begin with, it doesn't really matter. So a big part of marketing is, yes, relational email, relational content, texting your clients, thanking them, ascending them, and getting them to send you more referrals. All of those things are relevant, but it starts with being able to be found, right? So again, we're in the clouds. We're going to get more tactical here, trust me, in a minute. But like the point of this section is the top of the funnel. We're in the top of the funnel and we want to get people to find us. And the goal with the awareness stage is to identify your target prospects and get them to consume your content or call your firm. We need them to find you. And then, hey, what's the next step? And the next step actually will come into play today a little bit. How do we convert? We will talk a little bit about that because there's some strategies there. But generally what we're talking about is generating traffic. We want to generate traffic for you through the awareness stage. And again, it's not an accident. It's not just going to happen. And it has nothing to do with how beautiful your website is. It has nothing to do, that service page you wrote tons of content for that no one finds. A lot of this has to do with the back end of your website and the back end of your Google page and some stuff on the front end. We'll get into all of that today. And there's a number of ways to get traffic, right? So just to be clear, what we're talking about today is not the only way to get traffic. You can have social media, you can do ads, you can obviously local listings and search engine optimization. Those are the two we're going to talk about today, but you can get traffic from other places. We've just found, from an organic perspective especially, social media is not as powerful, and some of the other search engines that you could even consider like Bing, although there's some really interesting stuff happening right now with Bing search engine and AI through ChatGPT. That's another conversation for another day. But let me just tell you, we're watching what's happening with Bing with some curiosity. What we're focusing on today is optimizing for Google from a local listings and from a search engine perspective, because that's where most people go to find stuff, businesses, things. You want to optimize for Google. And this is why this isn't a mystery, right? When you do SEO well, we're playing into the fact that millions and millions and millions of users every day are getting on Google to find help for people within this industry. That's true. Across our country, millions of people a day from a variety of angles are looking for, hey, accounting, bookkeeping, tax consulting, tax answers, some topic. You could look at, even topical content like, what's the EIDL loan? What's the PPP loan? What's the SBA rules? What am I doing here? What's this new thing for this year? Hey, Wayne, PPC advertising is pay-per-click advertising? Good question. And again, that'll be our topic next time. That was a question in the chat or in the Q&A. But here's our digital dominance method, right? So here's everything we do. We dipped into all of these areas last time, and we're going to go more specifically into some of these areas in the future. Today, all we're going into is local listings and SEO. And I point this out again just to say, online marketing should be more than just what I'm about to talk about. It should be more. But if you just do these things, you'll be making steps in the right direction. You just probably won't get as many conversions or build as much relational equity if you get traffic, they find you, and you have no way of following up, engaging, and nurturing. Engagement and nurture matters a lot. The fortune's in the follow-up, right? That's true for marketing, but you've got to get found first to even follow up with them. Okay, so here's where you can show up on Google. Again, we've talked about ads. You can run ads by paying for a placement. That's PPC advertising, pay-per-click ads. You could also do a display ad campaign. We'll talk about that next time. Or let's look at the middle box. Your business can show up in the map section, or your business can show up beneath the map. We call those the organic links. And before I show you what that looks like, we're going to get to the second check word. And the second check word is optimize. Optimize. So pull up that link again from the webinar chat. I'm going to put that back at the bottom of the chat just so it's handy. And that is where you will put your second check word, optimize. And again, if you're just joining us, I can't repeat these. This is just the way the CPE credit works. We get to verbally say it, and then you guys have to put it in that link, and we keep rolling. But let's keep rolling. So here again, that's how you can rank in Google. You can pay for an ad. And Wayne, this is what I was talking about. Pay-per-click advertising, that's that top red section. You can even see the little ad symbol to the left-hand side of the link. That's for those top 4 little placements. But then there's a map, and that's that blue section I've highlighted with a Z, Gabriel, just to answer your question. That blue section is the map that is organic, unpaid. So if you get to rank in that map, you're not paying to be there. And then if we go down the page, you can see this green section we call the organic search results. This is also a place that you can rank organically. You don't have to pay to rank there. So we're going to talk about these 2 areas today, the blue and the green. And we're going to start with the green is where we're going to begin and work our way up the page. And here's a wonderfully terrible graphic. Again, they don't pay me to do graphic design, but we're going to come to the blue section and start with the green. And here is kind of, again, I'm giving you everything to start, and then I'm going to get more granular in some of these areas. This is a list of factors from our friends at Moz, M-O-Z, Moz Local. They're a third-party SEO group. They do research. They produce content. They're SEO gurus. There's others I like too, but like this is just a really helpful graphic for understanding how to rank in the green section. So how do you rank in the green section? According to Moz, here are the most important factors. And let's just take a look at them. On-page SEO elements, organic user behavior. Oh, and number 3, you see Google My Business. So we'll talk about Google My Business a lot in the second half of this talk, but Google My Business impacts that green section. If you're tracking with me again, right? We're moving from the bottom of the page up. The most important factor is on-page SEO elements, which is back-end stuff on your website. That's what it is. Back-end setup. So if you have a website on Wix, if you have a website on Squarespace, if you have a website that is templatized, boilerplate, just, pumped out really easily website with the same content as lots of other people, that kind of grates against this first point, the most important point for ranking in the bottom of a search for Google. And SERP stands for search engine result page. So if I use the word or the phrase SERP, that is search engine result page. And when you look at a search engine result page, that bottom section, the green section, the biggest factor is the back end of your website. And is it connected to Google Search Console? That's their webmaster tools. And what have you done in terms of your content? I'm going to get into that a little bit here in a second, but also how people engage on your site is the second most important factor. So if your website does nothing to clearly tell the lead, hey, welcome, you're in the right place, and here's what I want you to do next, Google actually, you're getting a penalty. You're getting a penalty from Google because they want to see that you are optimizing the experience of the end user based on how long they're on your site. Do they click around or do they not? All those things are factors that Google is measuring. And so I'm going to give you 3 areas within this back end of your website, things you can do and thoughts to consider as you build out a website that will help you rank organically. So as we go through this talk, I'm going to help you rank organically in the green section and the blue section. The goal is both. I want you to rank in both sections. I want you to show up twice without doing an ad on page 1. And to start, Jenny, there's a lot of timely questions coming in today. Am I saying that Squarespace websites are penalized? I'm saying that not all websites are created equal. That's what I'm saying. And the thing you should note is that in this current moment of time that we're in, building a good-looking website is not hard. It's not. It's just not. Squarespace and Wix, they make it easy for you to build a beautiful site. It's drag and drop. They've got templates. They've got little things you can do, but they've reduced a lot of the technical back-end ways of building websites that are powerful for lay people like us. in the tax and accounting space, like a CPA or a tax professional or an accountant. Hey, I just want to build a website. Wix and Squarespace make it easy. And there are others. Google's got a website builder. GoDaddy's got a website builder. And there are agencies in our space that also build their websites more or less on a Wix or Squarespace type setup. It's not on WordPress. That's the first thing I want you to think about with your website. If it's not on WordPress, you need to reconsider your website. There's a lot of reasons for that, but it's more complicated. I'm telling you to do something more complicated that you actually might not be able to do yourself because it's worth pursuing page 1 rank. Keep that in mind with everything I'm going to tell you. WordPress is where I'd recommend that you go. Not all WordPress sites are also created equal because WordPress is like an iPhone. I can have an iPhone and that's a great phone, but if I don't add apps to it, if I don't add functionality and kind of personalize it for my own needs, well, an iPhone is still cool, but I'm missing a lot of the power. WordPress is the same. Okay, so let me look through these 3 things and then let's keep moving. Your site platform has to be able to connect with Google Search Console. That's a minimum. If you have WordPress, if you're using Wix or Squarespace, at a minimum, make sure that your site is connected with Google Search Console. Number 2, every page on your site, if it's WordPress, and some other platforms do this, but again, WordPress is what I would recommend. You can create an SEO title, a meta description, and target a certain keyword. So what am I saying here? Every page on your site should have one keyword it's trying to target. CPA, bookkeeping service, accounting firm, tax planning, tax consulting. There's ways to do research and figure out what keywords are being searched for and what's being clicked. What are the most relevant or less competitive so you can rank more easily? There's lots of ways to do keyword research. But at the end of the day, the thing people will see when they find your website is your SEO title, your meta description, and your keyword target. And so those are things that you see all the time. You just don't know what you're looking at, but you have to work that in on the back end. Hey, Google, the SEO title for this is accounting firm near me, ABC tax firm. We've been here for 60 years, whatever. Your little title. And then the meta description, hey, we provide accounting services to people in the Tampa Bay area. And then the keyword target is, accounting firm. You want to have each page of your site have that type of flow. And that is to say, you got to look at what's on that page, what keywords are naturally occurring. So your bookkeeping page should target bookkeeping. And then you build a title and a description around that. But like every page on your website should try and rank for a different keyword. Google won't do it for you. You can make it easy on Google just by saying, hey, Google, here's what this page is trying to do. I'm trying to help people who need help with tax planning. That's what this area, this number or this letter B for this first section is describing. And again, if that feels unfamiliar or kind of technical, then hey, grab a call with me and we can talk about this more, or we can do it for you. But again, let's keep going. Letter C, good does not necessarily, or good look does not necessarily equal perform. I've seen a lot of good looking websites that didn't rank for anything and people are scratching their head. And then they're resistant to make a change because it's like, well, I spent so much money for this graphic designer to build me a site and I really, really like it. And I'm like, your website's first job is to perform, to get you traffic. So I don't really care, if I'm being honest, and I want to be sensitive, like I do care, but like, I don't care. Part of me doesn't care when someone tells me I spent X amount of dollars and my site's not working, but I don't really want to change. It's like, you kind of got to think about it differently. Everything in the past is a sunk cost. If you're not getting results online right now, a lot of the reason is your website. And so let's optimize for future growth. Let's try and get a site that does look good, but also does all this back-end stuff so that it performs. Content really matters. I've talked a little bit about this. Key pages on your site should be optimized for specific keywords, but this also goes into blogs. This also goes into uniqueness. The content on your site, this is one of the biggest changes for Google's algorithm in the last 24 months, especially 18 months. Uniqueness of content. If you have duplicate content, which is to say you've got some vendor that's got 1,000 websites that are basically all the same, Google frowns on that. That doesn't help you, even if the site looks good. Again, these are things Google is measuring. As we get into the AI chat world or the AI content creation world, that's even going to be more of a thing. But if you've just got the same boilerplate content as 500 other people across the country, That doesn't help. That's something as an agency we've solved for, that we have to solve for because it's a problem. We have to make sure there's uniqueness, and we have to have a creative process through our website building to not have that red flag. That's a thing we have to do, but most agencies don't do that. And this does matter. There was an article that came out just a few days ago from someone from Google, basically saying that 60% of the internet is duplicate content. 60% of the internet is duplicate content. That is a thing. And hey, John King, an existing client. Do we ever revisit updating the website for you, John, or for an existing client? Yes, for this very reason, because website rules and technical things change. So actually, John, I think we did revamp your website just last year, but that's a great point to whatever site you built 5 years ago, just like everything else in digital marketing, it usually needs to be looked at with fresh eyes and revamped. And that is something that we do for our customers who build websites with us, is we revamp it. And that's not to sell you on us, but just to say we're trying to play into the game that's being put before us. And that is uniqueness of content, new web designs, all the little things. The internet is not static. It's not static. And why does this matter again? Let me just zoom back out. This is how you're going to grow. If you do this stuff, this is how people using Google are going to find you. That's why this matters. There's probably going to be a number of points during this presentation where I might lose some of you, where it's like, he is so in the weeds. I have no idea what the heck he's talking about. And even if you don't retain all this, just know we're trying to tell you this is how you can get found. These are the things that matter. And lo and behold, it's a little harder than just throwing up a quick, easy website. Okay, again, the second factor on this list, let's go back, organic user behavior. Second most important thing, you need to optimize your website for engagement. Google measures clicks, they measure your scrolls, they measure time on site. And I also want to suggest that you should have a plan for your leads once they engage. This goes down the funnel, which we'll talk about more in the future. Hey, what does good email look like? What's a good follow-up plan? How do I say thank you to my clients? And what's a way to do that that's easy and manageable? That's all fair and good, but like at a minimum, if I'm on your site, I should know what the next step is. And I've just borrowed one of our sites. This actually isn't even one of our newer sites, just to be honest. But if I'm on this site and I'm a lead, I know that I'm in the right place if I'm looking for tax advice. And I start out just with unfiled taxes as a question. Yes, no, or unsure. So what we do with this design is we say, we're kind of, rolling with the data that says most people are not going to visit any other page than your homepage. Your other pages can help you rank, like we talked about, but most people are going to visit your homepage. And not only that, they're only going to be at the top part of your homepage. That's called the above the fold section. The above the fold reference is back to newspapers, right? Before you unfolded the newspaper, what was the first headlines in the top of the page that you saw? Same with a website. If the first part of your website in particular does not tell the end user, you're in the right place and here's what I want you to do next, we think there's a problem there. And so this is one example. I've got another here. And hey, we've got other designs, but here's another one. You're looking for tax advice you can trust. You need income tax help, business tax help, or both. I've got people that it's all over the place in terms of what questions we ask, but I'm just trying to highlight this design function of your website should be conversion oriented. I want you to take the next step. I want to put you into a relationship journey. People fill this out. I was just talking with our ads director this morning about all of the good pre-qualified leads that are coming through for our clients across the country, filling out this form. The form has various questions. It changes depending on what your focus is. But the point for me today is when people click on this form and they stick around the site, that influences your rank. That influences your rank. That's why we're talking about this. There's other reasons, again, building a list, emailing people, building relationships. But this also helps you get ranked higher when you make it clear and obvious and easy for someone to take the next step with you and tell you their problem. People don't visit your site because they want to see your beautiful images. They visit your site because they've got a problem. We want to create a frictionless process for people to tell you their problems and go through the funnel, and especially the ones who are pre-qualified, to then move on to the next step. We also want to have some friction in these questions for people that you shouldn't talk to. And that's why I don't go right for the calendar. I wouldn't recommend you go right for the calendar. That's not always the best play. And let me just name, this website has a book now button. okay, so be it. We'll do that for clients when they want, but that's like a request. Most of the time, what I'm recommending is this: have a step before the calendar, have a questionnaire or some form of pre-qualification so that your calendar doesn't get littered with a bunch of leads that you shouldn't talk to. Here's a blog for this client, and this goes back to keywords that you should be targeting beyond just bookkeeping, beyond just, accounting firm or tax consultant or tax preparation. Those are like high-level big keywords. There's also like more topical keywords like 2022 tax advantages or tax changes. This is one we just did recently, but I point this out just to say regular blogs are really smart. It's really smart because a blog allows you to write on something topical, rank for that keyword, curry favor with Google, and yes, get traffic from it, because people really will look at different topics, especially in the last few years of new tax law changes, end of year tax stuff, or whatever it might be. They don't just type in bookkeeping service. And that's back to why every page on your site, target a different keyword, put up blogs targeting more topical ideas so that your website expands and grows its reach in terms of keywords that it does rank for. That's why we do this. There's other reasons to do blogs, but from an SEO standpoint, new fresh content, I'm ranking for new keywords. That's why we do it. And we do that for our clients. But if you're going to do it yourself, I would at a minimum do a couple of blogs a month, or have someone on your team write a couple of blogs that are targeting a certain keyword. Here's a topic. It's really valuable. Okay, third check word. I'm going to just kind of get you guys reoriented because I know I was in the weeds there. You're going to pull up your link, and the third check word is Chiefs.
Then
Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs. In lowercase, I think is Nate's preference that he's pointing there, are small caps. So Nate's put the link down there again. We're on check word number 3. Chiefs.
Last week it was Commanders, which is a better team.
Chiefs.
No, not a better team.
What? Okay. We're going to keep rolling. I've just talked about this green section, okay? Now I'm moving up the page to the blue section. This is where we're going to camp out for the rest of our time. Tactics and strategies for this blue section, because if you rank here, this is way more related to actions like phone calls. This is way more related to a higher level of conversion, and it's also further up the page. So you could, in theory, rank in the green section, that area I've now scribbled out, and not the blue section. They're different algorithms. And so let's take a look at the algorithm for the blue section, right? It's from Moz again, but you can see at the top, we're not looking at on-page SEO elements now or organic user behavior, although those things are on this list. We're looking at Google My Business elements, and we're looking at Google reviews. I want to point out number 3 too, proximity of the searcher to the place of business. What that goes into, again, is that this is a locally based profile that Google is going to give you local traffic through. Your best traffic, your highest performing traffic, advertising aside, you can advertise and get traffic from other places. That's for next time. But for today, it's always going to be in your backyard. Depending on how big your city is, your search radius might not be that big. Like in New York City, your search radius might be a half mile, but within that half mile is 1 million people. As you get into more rural contexts, it expands. It could be 5 or 10 miles. Someone 5 to 10 miles away could pull you up easily. That's true, but it is, again, locally focused, and that localization depends on population density, competition, but these are the things that you must do to rank in the blue section. The elements of your Google My Business page, which implies you have that page to begin with. And then Google reviews is number 2. So we're going to talk about those couple of things. And again, side by side, left-hand side is our map section, that blue area. Right-hand side is the green section. I've highlighted for you that Google My Business, or now called Google Business Profile, and the reviews to that profile matter significantly for both algorithms. That green area and the blue area. It matters for both. Okay, let's go through 3 things. Back-end optimization of this profile matters a whole lot. And so here's some 3 points that you could take away with and play with. If Google gives you the option to add in something or fill in a field, do it. Don't assume because it's there, if you either don't know why it applies or don't know what to do with it, that you should just leave it alone. You should probably do something with it. That's always the safe option. The content that you post to Google Business Profile is not on its own going to get you a lot of traffic, but is another signal to help you get ranked. And so you can, maybe this is news, you can post content to your Google business profile, just like your Facebook page. And almost no one does this. Does this give our clients a competitive edge that we're posting content to their Google profile Monday through Friday? Yes. And it's not, again, because the content gets found. It's because that's a positive signal to Google that moves them up. That moves them up. Ariel, yes, we will have a PDF sent out after this meeting, or rather this webinar, that you can look back through these slides. The rules and options for what optimization means are constantly changing. I added that because Google Business Profile not only just got a new name in the last 12 months, it was called Google My Business for a long time, but it also within the last month just got a complete revamp in terms of how you engage with their profile. And I'm not going to talk about that a lot today, but like where you go to edit and manage your profile just drastically shifted. Everyone in the SEO space is frustrated by it. It doesn't seem like it was a change for the better, but this is Google and we play by their rules. And so ways that you can optimize and how you manage these profiles is changing a lot. And I want to show you guys, I think my next slide at least, here's one of our clients' profiles. What this is 3 screenshots stacked left to right, but this is like the same knowledge graph when you look up our client. When you look up our client on the right-hand side, you would scroll and see all of this. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about optimization. We've got categories, we've got products, we've got reviews that are highlighted, we've got content, we've got a description, we've got a Q&A, we've got popular times. You don't get all of these things turned on by accident. You don't. It's regular, it's rhythmic, it's getting reviews, it's playing the game. This profile, if you were to Google your own business, I bet you $1 that you don't have all these sections. And again, a little bit of a freebie. Maybe you could look at this and do some damage and make some changes. But like this for us is a big deal. This is a big part of why we do what we do, because when you have all this real estate from Google on your business profile itself, that's obviously good because they're giving you all these fields and all these little elements you can fill in. And that then makes your profile look more established. That then helps you rank higher. That is what back-end elements look like. That's what it looks like on the front end. Reviews, reviews, reviews. Here's what matters with reviews on Google. First of all, we're talking about Google reviews. I don't give a lick about Yelp. I don't care about Facebook. If you happen to have a few reviews on those profiles, that's fine. But what we care about is, for Google's algorithm, getting reviews to Google's profile. That's what I care about. These are not testimonials that a client would email you and then you then post to your site. All of those are fine. What we're talking about here is a person going to your Google profile that we're discussing right now and leaving you a review as they're logged into their Google account. Might seem obvious. I get these questions a lot. So that's what we're discussing. We're talking about getting someone to leave you a review on your Google profile. Here's what Google's looking for: frequency, recency, your star rating, and the content of the review. Let me highlight the content of the review. I was just looking at some research that was done by a gal named Joy Hawkins. Joy Hawkins, like Moz, is another really reputable SEO source. She does lots of R&D in the SEO space, and they did like an experiment where they measured reviews that had a lot of content. I think it was like 240 words versus less than 240 words, which is a lot of content. It is a lot of content. But what was the change in rank for a business if everything else was equal? A business that was only getting reviews that were like 5 stars with no content or less than 240 words versus someone that had longer form content in their reviews. And the results were pretty dramatic. The rankings were much higher for a business that got reviews that were content rich. And so you want to try and tee your clients up. Hey, can you talk about your experience? Talk about what you liked working with us. I don't need you to post your sensitive financial details, but like, what was the service? What was the impact? How did you feel? What was your experience? Give them some prompts so that they then leave you longer forms of content. Just saying, hey, can you leave me a review? Thanks. That's better than nothing. But if you can kind of tee them up a little bit just to say, hey, here's what I'm asking for. Sometimes that's helpful too, to take the frustration or fear out of like, hey, CPA, are you telling me to talk about my sensitive financial situation that you help with? I'm not talking about that. How do you feel about it? What was the effect? What was your experience working with me? Those are things that are usually like, oh, okay, you were timely, you were great, you were on top of it, you answered my questions, I got the result I wanted. Most people would never mind posting about that. So you don't have to make it about their financial, before and after, although they may do that on their own. But if you frame it in a way that's just trying to tap into those questions I mentioned, you'll have more success and then you'll get more content. This also relates to having a plan. Have a plan for how you get reviews. This is not like hope. Hope is not your plan. Hope is not a plan. You have to have something in place before the bullets are flying on your busy season, whenever that is, if that's the end of the year, if that's January to April, if you're just busy year round, you need to have a plan and a strategy for how you get reviews, or it is not going to happen. Because how many of you have a plan for this right now? I hope some of you, but probably not most of you, because you have other things to deal with that are more related to your clients being happy, leading a team, hiring people, managing, keeping the bills paid. How you get reviews is probably not high on your list, but it should be, or someone should have that as a job, or you should have a system that just takes care of it for you. And then in terms of your clients, there are ways to make it easier on your clients to leave you feedback. And I think I've actually got a slide here in a second. Yeah, I'll come back to those slides I just skipped over, but this is what our system looks like for leaving a review. And I just use TaxProMarketer's page as an example. When you use our system that we provide to leave a review, and let's say I'm the client of you, CPA or accounting firm, I get asked, hey, TaxProMarketer here, Christian, we love working with you. Would you mind leaving us some feedback on Google? Tell us about your experience, what went well. We would just appreciate that for other people to be able to find. Thanks. I click the link and I see this. This is the screen it starts with. This is different than sending them to go have to Google search for your business or to the other page, which would just be your profile on its own. This link that we use populates this screen where I can start leaving a star rating and typing without having to search. All I have to do is be logged into a Google account. That's the only thing I have to do. So make it easy. Make it easy for your clients to leave you a review, and your conversion rate will be a lot higher. Surprise, surprise. But here, let's look at this slide. This is from Bright Local. So I mentioned Moz. I mentioned Joy Hawkins. Here's Bright Local, another great resource. This is from their research that they do around SEO. Only 48% of consumers are going to consider using a business with fewer than 4 stars. So 52% of your client potential population, potential clients you could land, 52% need you to have 4 stars or more for them to even consider you. 12% need you to have 5 stars. You need to have 5 stars. And again, I'm okay if you don't have 5 stars. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about getting a 4-star review, a 3-star review, or even a 1-star review. We'll talk about it in a second. Play the game. Because if you don't have reviews, no one will choose you, even if you're the best in the area. And on reviews, the hardest part is having a happy client. The hardest part is doing the thing you guys are already doing, which is doing their whatever service they're paying you to do, doing that well and delivering results. This might feel daunting, but you've already done the hard part. The hard part is having a happy client. It's not always easy to get a review, but it's a heck of a lot easier to get a review when you already have happy clients. So if you can answer this question in the positive, do you have happy clients right now? And then a further question, do you have a lot of reviews? If it's yes, I have happy clients, and no, I don't have a lot of reviews, don't be intimidated by this. You've already done the hardest part, and that's getting a happy client. Let's just put a system in place that makes it easy for happy clients to say how happy they are. And it will pay you back in spades in terms of your time or money investment on whatever system you use to get reviews, because it's that powerful for Google's algorithm. Again, this is the second most important factor for ranking in the map section. It's massively consequential. And here's why. None of these are our client, just for clarity. I just picked Omaha. I did a search for Omaha CPA this morning and I plugged this in. If I am looking for someone to work with and I'm in Omaha and these are the results I get from Google, who am I going to pick? It seems obvious, right? And even some of these businesses have, 5-star rating with 5 reviews, 4.3 rating with 3 reviews, but then you have 29 with 4.4, and you have this highlighted area from Google from one of the reviews. The profile manager, the business manager, didn't put that there. Google put that snippet there because that guy's getting more recent and more frequent reviews. You'll get these extra little add-ons from Google organically. They'll just do it for you when you have more regular reviews. So even those other businesses have good reviews in some sense, they have a high rating, it hasn't been very recent, and it hasn't been very frequent. And so point being, DeBoer, however you say this name, DeBoer is probably going to get a lot more activity from Google. And these other two businesses are on page 1 in positions 2 and 3 in the map. That's really powerful. And yet at the end of this process, it's a dogfight to get the leads, and it's usually coming down to reviews. So full transparency. If we were to talk about, hey, if you want to work with TaxProMarketer, here's the reasons why it would not work. Here's like an example of people we've worked with before where success didn't happen in the ways that we'd want. 99 out of 100 times, it's because that client we worked with did not get reviews, period. And I'm the one that deals with that. And so I'm trying to tell you the dark side of this. If you do everything, I can get you on page 1 with the website we build. I can optimize your profile. I can post content to it. I can get you on page 1. But unless you guys get reviews regularly and frequently, and you don't need hundreds, you usually only need like 20 to 50. Just 20 to 50. Somewhere in there is usually enough. It's usually enough. But if you don't do that, you're going to be on page 1 and wonder why you're not getting picked, because someone else has a few more reviews. That's why this matters. This matters a lot. And that's why having a system that's easy for you to use, easy for your client to use, I can't stress that enough. Here's a view of our system. Here's a view of our system that we provided for, or all of our clients rather, that they received. But like, you can see how many invites were sent, how many reviews were received, the average rating, how many were positive. So in I think this is a 60-day view, if I'm not mistaken, or it's last 6 months. But this client signed up in the last 60 days. So again, this is from the last 60 days, someone sent 18 review requests, got 18 reviews received, some on Google, some on Facebook, and then they could go and very easily respond to those reviews right from this thread. But how this works is you load your clients into the system, and then you click a box, text or email the client a request for a review. We've got the content loaded in there. When your lead clicks the box, it'll show this prompt. It makes it really easy. And this might seem a little self-serving. If you don't use us, that's fine. I think you should consider using us, but whatever you do, this is the type of system I want. I want you to be able to load your clients into a CRM, see when your last review request was sent, did they open it or not? How many reviews have I got? And to have a place that you can manage all those reviews from, so you can respond to them as well. And that's this slide right here. I could respond to this review that was just sent in just a few weeks ago. And that's something we encourage our clients to do. Leave responses. Be sure to respond to your reviews. Again, it might seem small, but it's another algorithmic thing that you can do. When the owner responds to a review, it does help. It absolutely helps. Okay, and I've said this before, but this bears repeating. This is local. Ads is another strategy to get clients from other markets. And it's super viable. And I would encourage a lot of you to consider doing ads in your local market or out. But when you deal with this page, you don't have to have a physical address in terms of what shows on Google. You can work from home and say, I serve these zip codes or these cities. You can also have a physical address too. Either way is okay. But there's a temptation, and I'm pointing this out because I've dealt with this a lot for like incoming new clients. Do not, and even though I can't hear your responses, just say this to the screen, say, I will not target the whole USA with my Google profile. Seems silly, but I've seen people do it because Google lets you. This Google business profile, when you say, I don't have a physical address, and here's the areas I serve, they will let you set the entire country or multiple states as your target markets. And it's a glitch. It's a glitch. It will break your profile and no one will ever find it. And then I come in and clean it up. And it's not easy, but we'll do it. But like, it doesn't work like that. So even though Google lets you do it, I'm telling you it's a glitch. It doesn't work like that. That's what ads is for. Let this profile be what it is. It's local. Let it be local. Let it serve that purpose. And don't try and make it something it's not. And there are other locally focused profiles to consider too. Bing, Yelp, Apple Maps. There's other profiles like Angie's List, Super Pages. All of those are worth getting built too. But they actually, for us, they serve Google. Like the biggest thing that we do with those other profiles is build a consistent reference of your business around the internet. Your business name, address, and phone number, that's kind of your business's thumbprint. We want that on all of these locally based profiles because Google is looking at that. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but this is like future casting. This is brand new as of this last week that I saw this thread. Bing, don't sleep on Bing. Bing is doing some really interesting things with AI-based software called ChatGPT. Don't worry about the details, but like Bing, we might be talking more about Bing. It's kind of like I've heard it described as a Hail Mary by Bing search to try and become a more profitable part of Microsoft's offering compared to Google, because Google has a lot of market share, but there's some people that are like, Google's days might be numbered as the top search engine if this really lands for Bing. But Bing does have a locally based profile. Yelp does, of course. Apple Maps does, of course. But make these profiles what they are. They're local. Don't try and target the whole USA, and you'll be off to the races. Here's some data. Here's some data from real clients from last January to April. And I want to point out here, if you can see my mouse, 208 phone calls. This is from the map section. That's it. This isn't everyone who called this client. This is people who found our client here and clicked call. And I did this search you can see here from a desktop. But if I had done this from my phone, I'd have the option to call as well. That's what's being tracked. So we have 208 phone calls, 39 reviews, 4.97 star rating. This is great data. This is really good data. You can see people that viewed the photos that we posted, the posts that we posted, how many people found them on maps and search. We provide all this data, but that Google Business Profile has a lot of data you can sift through that's really useful. Here's 438 phone calls. Here's 1,000 or 1,100 actions total in the same time frame. How many people viewed the photos? How many people viewed on maps versus search? And this is again from January to April. And so that's why you want to do this. Not that maybe all of you are going for tax prep volume from January to April. That's fine. You don't have to make this thousands of calls or hundreds of calls, but still, your qualified leads for bookkeeping or accounting or higher level tax prep or tax resolution, that applies to them too. But certainly if you do tax prep, you can get a lot of volume out of this profile if you'd like. Okay, rounding this out, I want to show you guys a really quick case study. And this is for a newer client who we took their site live 9:30. There it is. Sorry, it's right in front of my face. We took their site live on September 30th. That client got 5 reviews over the last 60 days. And I want to show you some screenshots from a report that we use to track keywords. So this deserves just a little bit of context. So if you don't follow this, that's okay. But we track like 60 to 80 keywords with our keyword report. We don't track everything. When we start working with a client, we will throw up 60 to 80 keywords just to see progress. And so from the last 60 days, from 9:30 moving forward, you can see here from October 7th and October 24th, how many keywords of the 60 to 80 that we were tracking did this client rank for in position number 1, position number 2 through 5, or position 6 through 10. You have 2, 9, and 2. So basically 13 keywords in the top 10. Here you have 13 keywords in the top 10 again. And oh, look at this. Now we have 40 keywords in the top 10 on December 7th. And that is today. That is indeed today. I ran this morning. And what happened? 5 reviews and a newly built site that Google has had time to index and work with. And so that's why we do this. In the interest of time, I'm going to stick around past the top of the hour for anyone that wants to. But if you just need your last check word and then you need to get out of here, not a problem. Let me give you the last check word here. It is leads. Leads. As in, I want to get more leads from my online marketing. So that is your 4th check word. You would put on the link with the other 3 that we've given. And I'm going to keep going and keep chatting. And our next topic, just to clarify, yes, plural, leads with an S. Our next topic is going to be paid search on Google. Nate, I don't know if we have the date for that yet, but I just want to give you guys a quick highlight. Here's the stuff we're going to cover. Ad groups, keyword selection, how to build a landing page. What should your call to action be for your ad campaign? How to get reporting and what does active management look like? This is what we're going to cover next time. Nate, do we have
It's going to be, it's December 14th, a week from today at noon Eastern.
Okay, awesome. And as we round out the top of the hour, taxproleads.com, go there if you want. If you want and you're interested, you want to know what it's like to work with us, I wanted to use the last couple of minutes, if you are still here and care to hear, here's what we'll kind of walk through for most of you in terms of our offering and what we recommend, that kind of flows into what we talked about today, but also dips into some other things. So our growth package is a website, is handling your Google page that we talked about today, is relational email marketing, social media on Facebook, and then Client Stack, where we help you get reviews. And so those are all 5 things that even if we just talk about local and SEO from today, these are also things that we can discuss with you. Hey, what's your email marketing setup? What are you doing on social media? How do you get reviews? Those are all things that are also fair game and within a package we call our growth package that we can discuss with you. But with that, guys, we can open up the Q&A. I haven't looked at it in a second. I'm not sure if we have some unanswered questions there.
No,
But
I think we've hit them all. Thank you, Billy. Hey, Billy, it's good to have you back in the fold, brother.
yeah,
Billy,
Billy.
Billy Barton, TaxProMarketer client number 1 from way back in the day, and just reconnected with us, which is really cool. Still in Clayton, Billy? Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure that there's much that you didn't cover, my man. Thank you for this deep dive. I think we can call it a day. Perfect timing.
Cool. You guys can email me, Christian@TaxProMarketer.com.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat.
I'll put that in the chat.
I got it for you, brother. Oh, you got it.
If
Nice.
anything else comes up, or again, go to TaxPro Leads and let us know if we can help. And even if you don't sign up with us, that's okay. Like, that's not the point of the conversation. It's just to talk, see what's working, see what's not, and then go from there. Some of you on this call are already clients. Some of you aren't. If you're not, man, we're here to help. We really are. And hopefully that came through today. Like, a lot of content. You'll get the PDF. We'll have a recording. Feel free to look at this. Send this to your other marketing team. That's okay. Like, if that's what you want to do. But if you want help with this, man, give us some time. Time is the thing with organic that we need to get results.
Carl Johnson raised his hand. Carl, put it in the chat. Did you want to ask a question? Oh, the keywords, keywords URL, Wayne is right there. Christian, you got to hit the chatting to everyone, not just hosts and panelists for people to see it.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing it this whole time too.
Yeah. Let's see. Carl, put something in the chat. Do you want to ask a question live? Because we're happy to kind of give you,
that could be fun.
Yeah, the ability to talk, yes or no, in the chat.
Maybe it was just an accidental click.
Probably. All good. All right. Well, let's call it a sesh. Call it a lid. Good job, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Nate, I'll let you close this out and keep an eye out for our email on ads. That'll be our next deep dive. It'll be me and our ads director, Ben Grootman. And so if you want to learn more about ads, that's coming next. And we'll send the emails out about that as we get closer to the date.
As well as the slides are going to go out via email to all attendees tomorrow.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. See you.